Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making an adorable werewolf. Oh wait, did I say adorable? I mean terrifying. Now I got these eyes on Temu and I figured red eyes would be fitting for a werewolf. I think the other options were like silver and yellow maybe? So we're going to start with some Arteza mica powder, and this is the burgundy. And burgundy to me is like a blood red brown. So think maybe like dried blood is what I would think in my mind for burgundy. And I'm just going to use the flick method. And the first time I ever saw anybody do this, it was Claire's Crafty Corner, and I can't remember what she was doing it with. I think it was like Galaxy, but I'm not sure because like after that, I was doing Galaxy everything because I was so obsessed with how they turned out. But you just flick your powder onto the mold wherever you want it, and you wait till the end, and then you brush all the powder together. Well, at least on this one. Usually, I would flick the powder, spray it with some isopropyl alcohol, and then pour the resin. And then it gives you like these swirls and all this other stuff. But since this wolf has so much texture, I don't want to do that with this one. I just want to flick it all around. And then at the end, I will brush it all together. The next color we're going to be using is Space Gray. Now this color looks exactly like my brother's truck. He has a Ford Lightning that looks a bit gray, sparkly, you know, that type of deal. And I figured the wolf, I want him to be black because when I think werewolf, I think a really dark wolf. And I don't want him to be just a solid black. I want some of those details to come out in the fur. So I'm going to have some other colors mixed in, and the black will be the very least. And now for the final color, we're going to go in with a charcoal gray. I don't know if I've ever used this color before. I'm not a big gray fan, but I figured it would go with all the other colors that we're using here. Okay, here I decided I wanted more of that burgundy, so I just go ahead and grab the burgundy and I start flicking some more on there because I want this wolf to look like he just murdered something. And now I'm going to add some black mica. And this is Lilette's resin mica powder. Came in a huge tub. And it has some sparkle in it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's kind of hard to see. But that's why I'm putting it against the mold. Because I want to see some of that. Maybe see some of that sparkle come through. And just give a little more life to this wolf. And I know right now it looks like a big mess. But you just gotta trust the process. Here's where I break out the big fluffy brush, and this is what we're gonna use to mix everything together. And that's all I'm doing in a circular motion. I'm mixing everything together. I'm making sure I get as much of this mold covered as I possibly can. And I try to get up in the ears as best as possible. It is difficult to get up in there, but I figured I'll get a little bit in the ears, and then whatever else will be covered with the black mica. Also, I have one eye candy pigment, and it is the Yamagata Red, and I think I saw somebody use it on their channel, and they mixed it with black, and it looked like blood. So I figured, why not add some of this? Because when I put the black behind it, it's just going to look like blood on the wolf. Also, I do have a discount code for eye candy now, so check it out. So I'm trying to put it in spots where I see that the mold still has a lot of blank space, so that way it will show through. I want to take this opportunity to let you know that I am selling my stuff, and I'm selling it on Michael's Maker Place. And if you don't know how to get there, you can get there from the app. It's a little more difficult to get there from the app. It's easier to find on the website, the physical on a computer website. You go to the site. There's a little tab at the top that says Maker Place. You click on it, and then you can search in the search bar. And if you search Sly Design, you will find my store. I'm not sure if people overseas can order from the shop. You would have to tell me because I don't know. I have selected ground shipping for most of the stuff. So I'm not sure what they would say if somebody from overseas would try to put something in their cart and try to order it. Please let me know if you try, or if you're interested in buying something and you feel like you can't purchase it from the store for some reason. Maybe I can figure out another way to get it to you. I really just want to sell the things I'm making. I don't want to become a hoarder of all these resin things that I'm creating. I would like them to have homes where people will enjoy them, enjoy looking at them hanging on their walls, or just wearing them if they're a piece of my jewelry. I will also have the store linked in my description. Now I'm going to take some cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to clean those eye sockets. And then we are going to put the eyes in with some UV resin. Now this is the first time I am putting eyes in any of my artwork. I've never done this before. I've seen a lot of other people do it, so I can tell you that you have to watch after you put the eyes in and you have the UV resin cured that you do not separate that UV resin from the mold. So you have to watch picking the mold up, pushing on those areas in the back of the mold. Don't do that. Because if you dislodge them from the mold, the resin will creep under and then your eyes will be messed up. You'll either have, like, say I'm pouring black on the back of this, his eyes would come out black. They would just disappear, because once they detach, they then will flow wherever the resin is going to take them. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Sometimes it can come out looking really cool. Like one of the eyes, if you're pouring white behind it, if one of the eyes comes out white or it comes out cloudy, that could just look like your werewolf or your wolf got into a fight and lost an eye. Now here you can see I'm pulling off a film that was on top of the eyes, and the eyes are just coming right up with the film. So I figured, I guess those are the eyes I'll use today. They are now the volunteers. Now I chose the round pupils because dogs typically have round pupils, and so do people. So I figured those would be the right ones to choose. People. And here I am having difficulty figuring out how I'm going to get these eyes down in there and not touch the UV resin. And yes, shame on me, I'm not wearing gloves, but if you've ever worn gloves before, you know how difficult it is to deal with stickers with gloves on. I'm sorry, but sometimes you just gotta take those gloves off. Did you see that? There was a third eye trying to get in on this wolf. No, we ain't having that here. We ain't having a three-eyed wolf. Nope, sorry, that ain't gonna happen. Now, it's okay if you get some of that UV resin somewhere other than the eye socket. As long as you cure it, it's fine because the mold is painted. You're not going to see any difference in the front. And you're probably thinking, well, how do you know that, Summer? Well, it's because it happened to me. I got some of that resin above the eye, like where the eye, like right above it on the lid, and you can't even tell in the finished piece. So, nya 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 nya. And again, I'm swaying back and forth because I listen to music while I work, and that's most of the time why I'm voiceovering now. And now we're going to mix up our resin. And I am, for the first time, using a 2-part resin. And I am using Promise Epoxy. And I really like this stuff. I didn't know that, I think it was Marine Epoxy, had switched their name to Promise Epoxy. And I saw somebody talking about it in one of their videos. And I'm like, well, Marine Epoxy was the one I started with. And I really liked it. The only thing that was a little off about it was the smell. It was a bit stronger, but I love the way it poured. I didn't have crazy amounts of bubbles. It was a nice resin to work with, but I've never worked with a 2-to-1. And it's really not that bad if you have a measuring cup that shows you the 2-to-1 measurements, which these big ones do. And I love this mixer. This is that Isotoyo stand mixer. You just hold the power button in, it turns on and starts spinning, and then you click the AI button and it goes for 4 minutes, and it will switch between spinning one way for so long and then it will spin the other way for so long. Now, do you have to buy these mixers that are special for resin? And look at this cute little fox I found at Hobby Lobby. Also, I kind of regret buying that from Hobby Lobby because I just saw the exact same things at the Dollar Tree now, and I'm thinking, doesn't it just peeve you off when you find something at a store and it's more money, and you find the same thing later on in another store and it's like $1? It really gets you mad. But we're gonna go back to talking about the resin, okay? You don't have to buy these mixers. You can literally buy one of these paddles from Amazon or from Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever your handy dandy store is in your area. We have a Hepler's over here, and they have some stuff over there. I don't know if they sell these, but they probably do. You can put this into a power drill end, tighten it, and you can power drill mix your resin if you want to. As long as that paddle is under the resin, you're not going to have difficulty with bubbles. You want to know how I know this? This mixer ran out of juice. And I had to figure out a way to mix my resin, and I wasn't going to do it by hand because my hands are crap. So I took my power drill, I took this exact mix pole thing right here, and I put it in my drill, and I tightened it up, and I mixed my resin that way, and it was wonderful. It worked great. And then I just charged up the isotonia thing, so that way next time I wouldn't have that problem. Am I having a ranty ragey day today? Yes, because somebody started me up this morning, and if you haven't seen the live I did earlier, you'll know why. Now, always at the end of this mixing process, take the stir thing out of the cup, get all the resin off of it that you can, and then mix the resin again by hand. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, make sure you don't see any striations in that resin. It'll look stringy. If it's stringy, it's not mixed. You want it to be crystal clear. Are we crystal clear about what I just said? I hope so. And Andy, stop wasting resin. Alright, now, because this is a deep pour resin, we have a lot of time to work with it. So, I am going to take my paste and I am going to put it in that resin, and I'm going to set it up to mix again. Because we have all kinds of time to mix this resin. We could have this resin mixing all day if we wanted to, because it's not going to cure that fast. Like, I'm pretty sure the next day, the resin was still pretty soft. Like, you have a lot of time to work with this stuff, and I love that about it. I do not love that it takes forever to cure, but it's worth it on the deep stuff. Sorry about my arm being in the way. It's just something that happens from time to time. You'll get to see the paste and the resin mixing. Calm yourselves. Ta-da! And please don't think that I'm being snarky with you in this video. I'm not. This is just my personality. This is how I am. This is how I normally am with my loved ones and, well, mostly my husband. Now we're going to add some of that black Let's Resin mica into the mixture. So that way I get a nice sparkly black resin. Don't worry, I'm not going to mix this resin all day. This is the last cycle, and then I will continue on with the rest of the project. So how's everybody been? I've been quite busy. You know, I had that sale, and the sale didn't go the greatest. It was a very dead sale. I did sell some things, but I wanted to sell a whole lot more. And now I'm not going to be seeing another sale probably before Halloween. And unless people go to my website and buy things, I'm probably going to be stuck with all the Halloween stuff that I've made. But don't worry, it'll be fine for next year. I'll just package it up somewhere safe and it'll be good for next year, and I'll try to sell it again. That's kind of why I haven't been putting out too many videos. I've been busy with, I spent a whole week really hammering down and trying to finish a lot of the Halloween jewelry that I had. That's why the craft room is such a mess. You would have seen that in the live today. Well, it's usually a mess. I'm a chaotic crafter. Like, I have issues where I lose things and I can't find them and they're like right in front of my face, but there's so much stuff around I can't see it. Also, September 19th was my birthday. We didn't do anything that day, but then Saturday, my husband and I went to the Renaissance Fair, which is amazing. You should go every year. And even if you're not into like cosplay and all that stuff, you can just go and enjoy everybody else dressed up. And we go every year just for the nuts. They sell these like caramel nuts, and you can get them in like cashews, pecans, and almonds. And I always get the cashews because, I don't know, I just like cashews. They're one of my favorites. Now, you do have to watch with the nuts because my parents, apparently both of them broke their teeth on some of those nuts, but they're good nuts. And the Renaissance Fair has a ton of shows that you can watch. They have times that they have them going on. They're in different parts of the area. We usually go to see the birds. Some years they have birds that they bring. Well, I think they bring them every year, but one year they had owls, and I got to hold a great horned owl. It was amazing. Their eyes are just so hypnotic because of how large they are. But they really are lightweight. They look like they would weigh a lot more than they do because they're covered in feathers, and feathers are so light. And I finally found the recording. I've been trying to find it for so long now, but I found it, and this is what happened at the Renaissance Fair. And just look at those eyes. They're just amazing. I would highly recommend, if you ever get a chance to hold an owl or something, don't be afraid, just do it. It's really cool to experience. Okay, it looks like our resin's finally mixed up. Now we can continue on with the wolf. Now I'm going to scrape my sides and my bottom and make sure that my resin is mixed up. I know I can't see the striations because I have the black resin in there. As long as I mix it up a good bit, I am positive that I am getting all of that mixed, and I'm not worried one bit about it. And here I forgot to spray, so I'm going to spray just to make sure that I don't get any bubbles. And I do these pours in layers because the deep pour says that it can only be poured 4 inches deep. So being that this wolf has that, what do we call it, snout, I'm going to pour only up to 4 inches. Then I'm going to let that cure. Then I'm going to pour more, and this ends up being like 4 pours, which I think this is the only one that I waited to cure because it was so deep, and then the rest, because it was shallow, I just poured right after another because I didn't know how much resin this was going to take. I think it ended up taking like 700 milliliters or something like that. I thought I wrote it down somewhere. I'm not sure if I did or not. Alright, now that's the first pour. I let that cure, not fully, but I think I let it cure for like 2 days. Because the second day I checked it, it was still a bit watery. And then I waited another day. Also, I saw these spatulas on Glitz and Glitter's channel, and I ordered some because I was watching her use them, and they get every little bit of resin out of your cup, and she's not lying. It gets all the resin out of your cup. It's really nice. You waste a lot less resin. And that is the second pour going in. And this is the third pour going in. 1, 2, 3. Wah! Does anybody know what that references to? Tell me in the comments. I will have to say I really like this resin. I like how watery it is. I think I got 1 bubble in the entire piece. The thing I don't like about it is on the side that is face up facing you, it leaves ripples when it's cured. And I've heard somebody else saying this in their video, that they had the same issue, but I don't know if they were using the deep pour or not. I may have to go back and see if I can find that video, or if you're watching this and you did the video and you have had Promise epoxy ripple on you, you tell me what kind that you were using, because if I don't want to have this type of resin, if it's going to leave those ripples, I don't want to use it for a top coat, because then you're going to see that, because it's going to be clear and you're just going to have this ripply surface and it's not going to look good. That's my only question for this. It may have been Heart Creations by Renee, but don't quote me because I don't know for sure. I've also seen some other YouTubers using this resin, and they're like ambassadors, if you want to call it, where they're shown on the channel like listing for a Promise epoxy. And they do like little small river tables with rocks inside, and they use the epoxy the whole way through, so I don't know how they're getting a nice top coat if it ripples like that. And I try to reuse these cups, so scraping all of it out is great, and then I take my isopropyl alcohol and I spray it in there, and I wipe the inside with a baby wipe and try to get the rest out. It'll allow you to use that cup a couple of times before you can't anymore. I mean, you could probably use it a lot, but if you put something glittery in there, you're not getting all that glitter out. And now it's demold time, and you saw that big chunk of resin that I pulled off the front of it. That's because when I moved the tray over to the rack, it spilt out. I should have not filled it all the way and then taken it to the rack and then filled it the rest over there. That would have been the smarter move. Also, another thing you might want to know about deep pour, it shrinks back a lot. Like I did the little witchy cauldron from Let's Resin, and it shrunk back so much that I had to fill the bottom with UV resin because it wasn't flat. It was like a crater. And here, smart hindsight me decided, oh no, I'm not going to demold this until I fully make sure those eyeballs are cured in there, because now is the time. So I started to demold, and then before I got to the eye, I was like, nope. We are going to cure that and make sure we don't lose our eyes or they don't come out messed up. And those little bats turned out really cute. I actually did sell a couple of those at the sale. I don't know if I show them in the video, but I might. And here we go, the reveal. It looks gorgeous. I debated on going over it with some of that wax that you rub on and maybe a silver, but I decided not to. I think it looks great. I am going to do some more to this, but not in this video. I'm going to save it for the next one. Unfortunately, our werewolf did not sell at the sale. Nobody even asked how much he was. It's sad. I put a little hanger on the back of him to make sure that he can hang on a wall, but that was the last step. I don't know if I videoed that or not. I don't think I did. I did see a kid eyeballing it, though, at the table. He kept looking at it every time he passed, and I thought it was hilarious. I also had another kid come up, and he was asking about the bearded dragon keychains, and he actually knew it was a bearded dragon. I was surprised, and the kid actually knew about snake discovery, so he's very well informed on his reptile knowledge. Here I am trimming it up. I had a lot of overpour on this because of moving it and then it spilling over. I just take some scissors, I cut the bigger chunks off, and then I go in with my deburring tool and I get the rest off. You can also take a Dremel to it if you have one. It is a lot messier. You'll have dust everywhere, but it saves your hands if you need that. And if I can find the bat mold on Amazon, I will link it. If not, I think I got it at Joann Fabrics, which is sadly no longer in business anymore, in our area at least. I just can't get over how realistic this looks and how crazy good it looks. I want to do another wolf in like icy colors. Thank you for watching this video. Tune in for the next one because I'll be showing how we finished this and what else we did.